Hello, how is everybody? I hope you guys are good. A long time no see. So, yeah, I hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's having a good night or day, depending on where you are. So, if you guys did not see part one of the video earlier, please go back and watch it, but I am going to cover it again in this one. That was just a short little clip of what I wanted to talk about today. All right, so this is where we're going to start. I got a few comments from people that are like, oh, okay, now that you've brought this up, I remember this. No, I know, and it's sad because she never got justice and it was never solved. To this day, nobody still knows indefinitely what happened to her. But there is a girl who has come out who is claiming to be her. Now she's trying to get a DNA test. We'll talk about all of that. But at first, I'm going to go back to the beginning and we're going to watch this. It was 60 minutes in Australia. And we're going to go over some things. All right. Hey, CY. Okay. All right, so I'm going to mute myself and we're going to check this out and then I'll come back and talk to you.
If innocence has a face, then surely it is Madeleine McCann's. Since the night she disappeared, her anguished but unbroken parents, Kate and Jerry, have never let the world forget their daughter.
Please, please do not hurt her. Please don't scare her.
But the evil that befell Maddie may now have a name. Christian Bruckner.
Okay, now I just wanted to say that this was in 2020 that this guy was named as suspect in her disappearance, right? But what you got to think about is it's been 2 years and he has still not been charged with her murder. Right. And when we go into this and you hear a little bit about the investigation, you'll start to wonder probably the same thing I'm thinking. All right, so let's go.
Good evening, I'm Liz Hayes. In recent criminal history, there is no mystery more heartbreaking or baffling than what happened to Madeleine McCann. Police forces in 3 countries have spent 13 years and tens of millions of dollars searching for a breakthrough without even the barest glimmer of hope. But now that breakthrough appears to have come in the most dramatic way. In recent weeks, police in Germany and Portugal have searched sites where sex predator Christian Bruckner is known to have operated.
I see a lot of clues and a lot of evidence that he is a psychopath who has an escalating fantasy of violence, which finally maybe ended in abducting and killing Maddie McCann, yes.
Tonight, experts trace Bruckner's criminal history through Portugal, living a stone's throw from where
McCann.
Tonight, cracking the case of Maddie and the monster. It is the night of May the 3rd, 2007. Apartment 5A on the ground floor of the Ocean Club Resort in Praia de Luz. It is where British doctors Kate and Jerry McCann have been staying for nearly a week with their young children, including 3-year-old daughter Madeleine. They joined friends for dinner at a tapas bar within the resort complex, just a short distance from their apartment.
Okay, I want to pause it right there for a second. So this is where the parents, and this is mind blowing to me, but the parents left Maddie and her two younger siblings at the apartment to sleep while they went down to this restaurant with their friends for dinner and drinks. Now, why they left their children there unattended at a resort is beyond me. It's beyond me. I don't understand it. But this is where it all started. Okay? Blows my freaking mind.
Having earlier checked their children a number of times, at around 10 p.m, Kate McCann again goes back to the room. She finds Maddie missing and the ground floor window open. So begins an unimaginable nightmare for Jerry and Kate McCann.
Please tell us where to find her. Or put her in a place of safety and let somebody know where she is.
The distress of her family and her parents, and I think that touched everybody's hearts.
Former head of homicide at Scotland Yard, Simon Foy, was a member of Operation Grange, the UK investigation into Maddie's disappearance.
And the thing just grew and grew and grew. And in the midst of that, the Portuguese tried to construct an investigation, and it's not easy in those circumstances.
The disappearance of little Maddie McCann electrified the community of Praia de Luz. Hundreds of local people joined the search for her, as their mayor, Hugo Pereira, remembers.
They worked tirelessly together with the authorities, joining in the desperate search to find the child. They spared no efforts in the following days to try to find Maddie.
The Portuguese people did all they could, but the Portuguese police, hopelessly divided between three different forces, committed grave mistakes that would compromise the investigation from the very beginning.
If it's not solved in the first 2 days, it's very likely that this is going to be a cold case forever.
Okay, so I wanted to pause that right there. So this is where flags start going up in my head. This is where I start to have a lot of freaking questions as to why things were done the way they were done, as to why this scene was handled the way that it was handled. Completely wrong. Totally wrong. Now, I've never, ever heard of anything like this, what we're about to hear. It is absurd. All right.
Criminal profiler Mark Hoffman suspects Maddie's abductor escaped amidst the confusion at the Ocean Club and surrounding Praia de Luz.
The first 48 hours after murder or abduction, these are the golden hours for the police or law enforcement to solve this crime.
The police chosen for the ground search were not trained for the job. They were essentially security guards.
Portuguese police, they were not used to this kind of cases and to this, to the amount and size that this case would grow into.
In Praia de Luz, Kai Feldhaus, heading up the investigative unit of Germany's Bild magazine, watched as the chaos unfolded.
In the critical first 48 hours, there were a lot of blunders and a lot of mistakes. Too many people were running in and out of this apartment. Too many people were bringing their DNA into the place, where they were supposed to be looked for other DNA.
The McCann's apartment was not forensically sealed. Unbelievably, it was cleaned and rented again before DNA samples were taken.
Okay, now seriously, think about that for a second. Think about that. It was not forensically sealed off, which means people were able to come and go as they pleased. The room was cleaned and rented out to another family or another group of people before they took DNA, before they took any DNA samples from that apartment. I mean, I have never heard of such a thing. Immediately when the police were called, that room, that apartment should have been sealed off, and forensics should have been the first thing done. None of that was done. Doesn't that blow your freaking mind? Especially since we're looking for a 3-year-old child. Crazy. Now, it's stuff like that. It is stuff like that that makes you go in your head. I mean, were these police trained? Were these people over there, forensics, the police, crime scene, were they all trained at all? Because anybody with, you don't even have to, anybody with a little bit of knowledge of how a crime scene works knows that immediately it needs to be sealed off and taken care of, and all of your samples, your fingerprints, everything taken. So it makes you go, okay, did they really just not know what they were doing? Or did they botch this thing on purpose? And if so, why? Right? Okay, let's move on.
And DNA that might have still been there was potentially contaminated by police dogs taken into the apartment.
This was the worst investigation, criminal investigation, because all the samples were contaminated.
Crime reporter for Portuguese TV, Sandra Filgueiras, was at the scene on the first.
Every single DNA sample that was taken was contaminated. Every single one. Because somebody sent the search dogs into the apartment before forensics got there. Make it make sense. Make that make sense. Almost like it was done on purpose.
First day of Madeleine's disappearance.
The dogs that were sent to the flat to look after Madeleine were sent before the forensic. So the most part of the samples that were collected, and there were more than 600, they were made of dogs' things.
What no one knew at the time, least of all the local police, was that just over a kilometre from where Madeleine disappeared lived a monster. Christian Bruckner, a sex predator who'd raped a young girl in Germany and who then fled to Portugal, where he'd raped an elderly woman in Praia da Luz just 2 years earlier.
It's really important to understand that many child molesters are not pedophiles.
Mark Hoffman says that from the moment 3-year-old Madeleine McCann arrived in Bruckner's domain, she was as much a target as his elderly victim.
They like to abduct easy victims. And if you ask me, elderly women and children, this is not a contradiction. This is one of the biggest similarities.
At the time of Maddie's disappearance, Portugal did not have a sex offender registry, but authorities there were made aware of Christian Bruckner's history the year before. While facing a local court on theft charges, Bruckner told the Portuguese judge record for child sex offences in Germany. Is it correct that he made an admission to the court about his criminal past?
Yes, it's very true. It's very true. He admitted that he did commit a felony involving sexual offences.
Public defender Serafim Vieira represented Bruckner in 2006. Intriguingly, Bruckner also told the court he had no home address in Portugal, despite having already lived there for more than 10 years.
I believe that at the time, the sexual offence that he was convicted didn't appear in his criminal record in Portugal for one simple matter. He was not a resident in Portugal. Therefore, there was no trace of his past.
Rather than reveal his residence, Bruckner chose instead to stay in prison, a term that lasted 8 months.
He said, nobody can know about that address. Bruckner called to a friend, a German friend from the prison, and he asked that friend to go to that house to take all the computers and pen drives and cameras that he had there.
Whatever Bruckner was hiding there was never found. He was released from prison in December 2006 and returned to Prada-Luge, just months before Madeleine McCann was taken.
He was a convicted child molester when Madeleine McCann disappeared, right? And he never got into focus. So how can it be that there's a convicted child molester living close by, close proximity, few kilometers, and it was like the first, but not by far not the last mistake that has been made.
Within days of Madeleine McCann's
Crazy. It just seems like the crime scene where she was taken was totally screwed up. Totally screwed up. You couldn't use anything that you got from there. And then you have this suspect, at the time he was not a suspect, but you have the cops not looking into, like that guy just said, you have the cops not looking into these people around this area that could be, suspects, right? So you have them not even doing that. So I'm really wondering here what they actually did. Is that why her family had to hire a private investigator and they've had to do all of these things because, these cops didn't want to seem to investigate anything. It seems like they don't know what's going on over there. Like I had said in my previous video, I really hope that they have stepped their game up at this point because, that's not good for anybody, is it? All right.
disappearance, Christian Bruckner slipped out of Portugal and headed for Germany. A monster no one knew on the move. June 4th, 2020. After 13 years that have baffled police investigators in the UK and Portugal, German authorities make a stunning announcement in the case of Madeleine McCann.
The public prosecutor's office is investigating a 43-year-old German national on suspicion of murder. We are assuming that the girl is dead.
Their suspect is 43-year-old Christian Bruckner, a sex offender currently in a German prison for the rape of a 72-year-old woman.
Christian B, he is a serial offender in many past cases. He was criminal and he was in prison and he did it again and again and again and again, 17 or 18 times.
It's 1995, and 19-year-old Christian Bruckner arrives in the Portuguese coastal town of Praia da Luz. He lives in this house, just over a kilometre from a resort called the Ocean Club. In time, it will become one of the world's most infamous crime scenes. Bruckner comes here seeking a safe haven, fleeing Germany, where 2 years before he was convicted for the sexual assault of a young girl.
He was 17 years old, he raped a child, he got the sentence, and then he escaped from Germany and he came to Portugal. When you talk to these people that knew Christian Bruckner at that time, they all qualify him as a disturbed man that had strange behaviors that no one understood very well.
In the years that followed, Bruckner made his living as a small-time drug dealer and thief.
He was a criminal. He was responsible for more than 20 burglaries in the same area in Praia da Luz.
Bruckner's targets were holiday homes and hotels.
He was always looking for houses with the same description of Ocean Club, where Madeleine went missing. He was always going to the first floor, to windows that were easy to open.
But beneath the mask of a petty criminal lurked unimaginable evil.
Yeah, when I look at his criminal record, I see a lot of crimes, but I see clearly two categories of crimes.
Okay. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, well, first of all, let me just say this about this guy. Like I said, it's been 2 years since they came out and said, okay, we think that he's responsible for this. We also presume her, gone, right? So it's been 2 years that they have said that they think he did this, but he has still not been charged with anything. So what does that tell us? Does that tell us that what? They just don't want to do their job still? Does that tell us that he may, he's a bad freaking guy, but is he the guy responsible for Madeleine disappearing, right? Because if he is, and they had proof of that, then they would have already charged him with that. That's my thing, right? Okay. Now, nobody ever heard anything after this, as far as Madeleine goes. And then all of a sudden, last week, this woman, this from Germany, comes out and says that she thinks she's Madeleine McCann. Crazy. Now they have the same eye, that same eye thing. I can't think of what it's called. I was just reading about it. But they have that. She does not remember her childhood. She does not remember being a little girl at all. She says that when she asks her parents about her past, about her childhood, they don't want to talk about it. The mother says, that's the past. I want to leave the past in the past. Which is odd to me. Very odd, right? Now, of course, this girl's parents are saying that it's not her. She's crazy. But they are refusing a DNA test, which should tell you a lot. Which should tell you a freaking ton. Because if they really wanted this over with and they just wanted it to be done, then why not give a DNA test, right? Why not take a test? Because if they are not her parents and they either were given her, bought her, kidnapped her, whatever the case may be, then it's going to look bad. Then people are going to go, okay, you're not her parents. What the hell, right? How'd you get her? Blah, 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 so on and so forth. She has never seen her birth certificate. Never. She asked her dad about you know, doing a DNA test and about her being this girl. And her father says, hold on, I wrote it down, his exact words. What would it matter? What would it change if I wasn't your dad? And these things to me are insane, because if they were her real parents, right? No, I'm not saying she is Madeleine McCann, but if they were her real parents, they could have just ended this already with a simple DNA test, which they are refusing. Show her birth certificate, which they will not do. Talk to her about her childhood, which they will not do. All these things, I'm sorry, but all these things are making us go, well, what are you hiding then? Right? Because you're hiding something. Now, Madeleine's parents did agree to a DNA test. So I have not heard yet if what is going on with that. The last thing that I heard was her parents, Julia's parents, are refusing to do a test, which again to me says a whole freaking crap ton, right? All right, so let me read this stuff to you, that these notes I had taken earlier, okay? Let's see. Okay, yes. The mother said, let's leave the past in the past. Her dad says that even if he isn't her father, that changes nothing. She recognized, when shown a picture, she recognized her grandmother's second husband, son, as one of her abusers. And that's freaking crazy, right? Because so Julia's grandmother, right? The one she was raised as her grandmother, her second husband's son was identified. Julia identified him as one of her abusers. He was also mentioned in the Madeleine McCann case, which is crazy. He was a suspect in the Madeleine McCann case. So that's insane. All right. Now, Julia says she is a abuse victim. She is a victim of SA. Okay. She said she remembers it starting at 8. So the earliest she remembers it is 8 years old. Now, is that because she does not follow? Is that because she doesn't remember any of her childhood? I don't know. All right. Now, again, I will say this. Hold on. I'm sorry. Okay. It doesn't make any sense to me that, now, again, I'm not saying that this Julia is her. Okay. I'm not saying that at all. But it would all be solved already. Like, it would be taken care of and squashed already if her parents just agreed. So now what happens? What happens if her parents did take the test and they know that they're not her parents? That means, like I said, that's going to open a whole nother investigation, because who is she? Where did she come from? They'd have to go back all them years and find out when she went missing. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Now, there is this story. I don't know if you've ever, it's a true story, but it was also a Lifetime movie. It was called The Face on the Milk Carton. Okay. And this girl was kidnapped when she was a little girl. True story. And her parents that kidnapped her and raised her as this other girl, you know what I'm saying? And she ends up finding out when she's like 18 years old that her parents were not her parents and she was taken when she was a kid. I'm just saying that stuff does happen in real life. Okay. So we'll have to wait and see. But this is why this girl would come out and say this. I mean, is beyond me. Is it just for fame? Is she would get nothing out of it, right? Except for that. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This Christian, Julia also recognized Christian Bruckner. Wait, I want to make sure that's correct. I don't want to give you the wrong information. I'm trying to read my notes here. I got them all over the page. She has she has contacted police many times. And they are telling her that they refuse to investigate her claims. That's odd to me, because you have this girl who went missing 15 years ago. No, but she was never seen or heard from again. And then you have this girl who says, hey, I might be her. Can we look into this? And you just refuse to do so. Like, they either have really good reason to believe that that's not her, or they know something that we don't know, right? Okay. This whole case is very sad. Very sad. I just think that, again, if they really thought it was this guy, then why has he not been charged for it? Can anybody explain that to me? Because it seems to me that they said she was presumed dead means they have nothing, no leads for the last 15 years. So, I mean, you just presume somebody dead. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back into this video, and then I got a little more stuff to go over with you guys. Actually, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I am going to get off of this for a minute. All right, now I'm going to pull this up for you guys. So this is the girl, that is claiming to be Madeleine McCann. Okay. I mean, and you really can't go by looks. You can't, because so many people, I mean, that's kind of crazy, I think. But you can definitely tell that she is a victim, that she has had a very hard life. Look at the circles around her eyes, which is common with SA victims, right? Okay. Let me get out of that. Now, Julia's parents deny that she is Madeleine McCann. Let me mute this. Come on.
I tell the truth. I'm not a liar. I tell the truth. I tell what I know, what I think. And that's all. That's all. No, I'm not trying to get attention. Even if I'm not Maddie, I could be another girl maybe, but I believe that I'm I'm Maddie.
Okay. Now let's see. The family of the Polish woman claiming to be kidnapped British toddler Madeleine McCann has broken their silence to deny she is the long missing girl, saying that she suffers from mental health issues and ignored their pleas to stop her lies and manipulation. Again, easily solved. Why aren't they doing it? The relatives of Julia, 21, who also goes by Julia Wendell or Julia Wendelt, said they are devastated by the media attention that she has gotten for posting viral videos claiming that she is Madeleine, who was abducted when she was 3 years old on vacation in Portugal in 2007. For us as a family, it is obvious that Julia is our daughter, granddaughter, sister, niece, cousin, and stepniece. We have memories, we have pictures, the family said in a statement through the Missing Persons Organization missing years ago. Julia also has these photos because she took them from the family home with the birth certificate, as well as numerous hospital discharges. But none of that has been seen, right? That's just a claim that the parents are saying, that she took her birth certificate, she took all of this, she took all of the evidence proving that she would be our daughter from our home. That is a little crazy, right? The family claims that she suffers from mental health issues and denied pulling her out of therapy, as she claims they did when she started asking questions. We always tried to help her get back on her feet. Julia has been of age for several years. She has moved out of the house. She refuses treatment, doesn't take medicines regularly. I don't know, guys. I don't know. What do you guys think? Whoops. Now, this is a generated picture of Madeleine. You know how they do the regenerated pictures or whatever as they get older. And this is Julia's picture. Okay. Well, let's read a little farther. She also did not take advantage of the treatment opportunity at a very good center in Poland, which agreed to accept her. The family also alleges that she was motivated by the attention she was receiving. Julia once wanted to be a singer, a model. She always wanted to be popular. What's happening now is she got 1 million followers, the statement added. They also expressed fears that the intense coverage will haunt their daughter. The internet won't forget, and it's obvious that Julia isn't Maddie, they said. We are devastated at this current situation. Threats to our address from Julia, her lies and manipulations, activity on the internet. We've seen it all, and we've tried to prevent it, to explain. We've asked her to stop, they said. We would like to take a stance on Julia's case, which has spread to the internet and media in many countries in recent days. Julia had documented apparent physical similarities between herself and Madeleine, including facial moles and a brown mark on each girl's right iris. She had also claimed in social media posts that she has post-traumatic amnesia after being SA'd by a German pedo whose identity she does not know. But she said she recognizes the alleged attacker in a composite image posted on the Find Madeleine website. So she recognizes this man as one of her abusers when she was a child. Okay. She said she will go to court seeking a DNA test from her parents to clear up the matter. But private investigator Theo Johansson told the UK Sun that her mom will not hand over a genetic sample. I have been personally talking to Julia's mother and told her we will make her safe and secure in any way she needs, but she is still refusing to take the test. That's crazy. Why? Why is she refusing if she knows, right? If you could just easily solve this and you hated all this attention your daughter was getting, then why wouldn't you just take the damn test? That tells me that they are hiding something. That tells me that they are guilty of something, right? All right, let's see. Everybody, please, if you have not done so, I'm going to ask you to please hit that thumbs up to support the channel for free and consider subscribing to the channel. It's a free way to help support the channel. Okay. All right. I do not know how to say her last name. Julia Faustina, I'm going to say, okay? What we know about the woman who claims to be missing child Madeleine McCann. Polish woman Julia, also known as Julia Wendell and Julia Wendell, says she believes she may be missing British girl Madeleine McCann, who disappeared while vacationing with her parents in 2007. According to an Instagram post, Julia began entertaining the idea that she may be Madeleine a few months ago after hearing something from her grandmother. Faustina added that she has no memories aside from a holiday memory of being in white-colored apartments. Madeleine, 3 at the time, was vacationing with her family in Praia de la Ruz, Portugal, in May 2007 when she vanished from her hotel room. Not for nothing, after her parents left her there to go drinking and to go to dinner with some friends. Her parents had been dining a short distance away on the resort property while she slept in the room with her siblings. Faustina added that the memory didn't include any family members, but included seeing a beach and a little bay. As I can remember, I saw turtles then, and there were another children, and they tried to touch the small turtles. Faustina's added that her own parents rarely talk about her childhood and dismiss questions when she brings up the past. During the rare times they did talk about the past, Julia said their stories had inaccuracies. She said an example includes her parents telling her she joined a school much earlier than September 2007, but her kindergarten teacher said that was her enrollment date. Faustina said she's 21, but she isn't certain if that is her exact age since she reportedly hasn't seen her birth certificate and doesn't know if she was lied to. Madeleine, as of February 2023, would be 18 years old. While speaking with the Tab, Julia said she's tried to get her parents to talk about the discrepancies, but they reportedly refused to engage. My mother didn't want to talk about it. She said, the past is in the past, and she's not going to talk about the past. She said, now is the future, and we should focus on the future. My dad said, even if I am not your father, will it change anything? See, now, hey, call me crazy, but those seem like suspicious answers. You know what I'm saying? Those sound like, okay, we need some follow-up over here. Okay. All right, now, listen to this. Faustina said she recognized convicted sex offender Christian Bruckner when she saw his mugshot. Law enforcement believes Bruckner may have kidnapped Madeleine and harmed her, as a crime online previously reported. Bruckner worked as a repairman in Praia de la Ruz around the time that Madeleine vanished. He's currently behind bars serving out a 7-year sentence for attacking a 70-year-old woman at the resort in 2005. According to another Instagram post, Julia said she was abused beginning around age 8, and a robot portrait police made in the case closely resembled Bruckner. I know this person and I will always recognize this face. That's him. It's Peter. I'm sure that's his face. I think I may be Madeleine, but I'm not 100% sure without the DNA test. But on this robot portrait, I am sure that it's him. That's pretty crazy. All right, now listen. Madeleine has an eye defect called coloboma, which affects her right eye. Julia's right eye is also affected in the same area. I have similar eyes, shape of face, ears, lips. I had the gap between the teeth. Julia wrote in an Instagram post, I need to know the truth. I need DNA tests, and I need to talk with Madeleine's parents. Help me. Faustina told the Tab that she has contacted law enforcement numerous times, but was told they would not be investigating her claims. I called my local police, Capital City Police, the Met Police, Portugal Police, and Crime Stoppers, she said. A few months ago, I talked with Operation Grange, too. Madeleine's parents agreed to a DNA test. Although her own parents allegedly refused Julia's request for a DNA test, Madeleine's parents, according to a family spokesperson, have agreed to it and are willing to consider all leads. The family are taking no chances. They are willing to look at all the leads. It is important they look at all of the factors. The girl does look similar. There's no disputing that. If what she says is true, there is every chance it could be her. It all adds up. I mean, and that's right. Like, we just don't know. Until that DNA comes back, we have no idea. I think that's insane that that the parents never got in trouble or anything for leaving their kids alone like that. Like, that to me is crazy. Okay. Let's move on. And it is crazy that her parents just are refusing to, like, talk to her and help. Like, here, let's clear this up. If she's really mentally ill, then prove it. Take the damn DNA test, right? Okay. There was two, actually, Sugar. There was two babies in there with her. Madeleine was in the room with her two younger siblings. Okay. Lassie, I know. Okay. Let's get on to this next thing. All right, well, we know about the woman who claims to be missing child, Madeleine McCann. All right, I just told you some of this stuff. Let's see. Oh, they literally just took all of this from that other page. Okay. So I literally just read all that. We're going to get rid of that. Hold on a second. But okay, now let me say this. If it was her and her parent, if Julia, let's just say for a minute, if Julia is Madeleine, right? And her parents know that this cannot come out, that this is not going to be good, right? Then obviously they're going to try to discredit her. They're going to say, hey, don't listen to her. She's ill. She ain't right in the head. Don't listen to her. She's got a mental disorder. right? Don't listen to her. You can't believe a word she says. She lies. She manipulates. They're saying all of this stuff to discredit their own daughter, right? If that's what I'm saying. They want to say that this is their daughter, that she's not who she says that she's claiming to be, okay? But they're going to tell you all of these bad things about her, but refuse the one thing that would squash all this. And again, it's because they have something to hide. This is so stupid. And it kind of makes me mad that these parents are doing this, right? They want to say, oh, she's causing all these problems and she's getting the McCann's hopes up for this, that, and the other thing. Well, you're letting it continue. You know? Okay. Let me go over here. She very well could be somebody else. She might not, you know, she just might not be who she thinks she is. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Let's move on. Is this the one that says, okay. I just read all of that. Now, these are Madeleine's parents, Kate and Jerry McCann. And I mean, not for nothing, but when her mom, in the beginning of that 60 Minutes, when her mom was like, you know, where is she? Just put her in a safe place. Like, I don't know what it is with these parents, and they're emotionless. They're no emotions going on. Okay, I wanted to find this part. All right, in her post, Julia also shared the police sketch of the man multiple witnesses saw carrying a child in the resort the night Madeleine disappeared. So not only do you have a bunch of people saying that, hey, I saw a guy carrying a little girl towards the ocean or towards the town center, right, in the resort or whatever. But it took days to take any samples, to try to lift any prints. I mean, you didn't do nothing. You had all these people saying, hey, I saw a guy carrying a girl. You know, they were going that way that night. Could be, but let's not test anything. Nope, stop. Let's not. Okay? It's just mind-boggling. This is freaking mind-boggling to me. Okay, and then she says, I recognize this person. It looks very similar to my abuser. While it is unclear what kind of abuse she may have suffered, she makes references in her post to being victimized by a German pedo. News that the McCanns are reportedly pursuing Julia's claims, however, comes in growing concern about the young woman's mental state. Again, maybe. But that's how they'd want to make her look, isn't it? They'd want to discredit her. They'd want to make sure nobody would believe her. They'd want everyone to think she was crazy. Okay. Julia's mental health at this moment is not good. Spokesperson Dr. Fia Johansson, also known as Persian Medium, shared in a video update to Julia's Instagram profile on Monday. She needs help, noting that Julia's background is challenging and messy. Johansson did not reply to the post request for a comment. A representative for Jerry and Kate McCann could also not be immediately reached. Though local authorities initially suspected Jerry and Kate of killing their daughter and disposing of her body, investigators later surmised that Madeleine was possibly kidnapped by Christian Bruckner. Authorities reportedly are still investigating Bruckner, 45, who was formally identified as a suspect in the McCann case in April. According to the Daily Beast, Bruckner was a handyman at the time of Madeleine's disappearance. He is serving a 7-year sentence for doing that to a 70-year-old woman at the resort in 2005. We welcome the news that the Portuguese authorities have declared a German man in Arguido in relation to the disappearance of our beloved daughter, Madeleine. Even though the possibility may be slim, we have not given up hope that Madeleine is still alive and we will be reunited with her. Now, just how bizarre would it be if Julia really was her? Now, again, not saying that she is. I'm just saying, how crazy would that be, right? This girl, this is probably one of the longest missing child cases ever. And it'd be so crazy, but not unheard of. Okay, let me get rid of that. All right, let me see if this is it, you guys. Oh, really? I don't know. I have to look. Okay, let me see. Hold on a second, y'all. I mean, I don't know how anybody could say either way when without DNA, you know? Okay. Family of Julia refuses DNA test that could rule out Madeleine McCann claim. The mother of Julia Faustina, 21, won't hand over a genetic sample, but insists she has documents proving that Julia is her birth daughter, a private detective told the UK Sun. I've been personally talking to Julia's mother and told her we will make her safe and secure in any way she needs, but she is still refusing to take the test. She claims she has Julia's birth certificate, but our worry is that you can easily forge this. My feeling is that we need to force the mother or a member of Julia's family to take the DNA test. Absolutely. If any of Julia's direct family members agree to take a DNA test, it could immediately shed light on whether her claims are true. We could solve this, but they're refusing to do so. I mean, guys, anything is possible. Julia has posted photos showing she bears a resemblance to the missing girl. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we saw that. She claims to be suspicious of her parents in part because she's never seen photos of her mom pregnant. McCann's parents, Jerry and Kate McCann, have previously agreed to take a DNA test. But the lady, Johansson, says it's not necessary to disrupt them. If Julia's parents simply take a DNA test, it could show she's related to them and rule out that she's an abducted girl. Let's see. Now, if she is not Madeleine McCann and she is doing this for just, say, attention or whatever, that's not good. That's not okay. It is not okay to get these parents' hopes up after all this time just because you are bored and have nothing better to do. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of red flags here, guys, with her parents that you cannot just dismiss. You cannot. It is very freaking odd that they won't just put an end to this. So I will definitely be digging a little bit deeper into all of this. I'm definitely going to go back to the beginning of this case and investigate it from, as far as I can from the beginning to go through everything. So many mistakes were made. So much shit is gone. So much shit was not done right. It's not good. Right? Wait, why is Madeleine's DNA on file? I don't know. That's a good question. And that's the thing. They would have no reason if they know she's their daughter, then just take the test. Then nobody's got to go through this anymore, and you could just end it. Like I said, if you don't like all the attention that it's bringing to your family, then take the damn test. Yes, that's true. The girl, Julia, has not accepted a dollar or a dime, you know what I mean, from anybody. So she's not gotten any money from this, right? I mean, she's obviously, her family is freaking out for a reason. She said that this whole thing started because of something that her grandmother said to her. Now, her grandmother's second husband's son is this Christian Bruckner. How freaking bizarre is that? Right? And she recognizes him as one of her abusers. Who's to say she's not? Who's to say she wasn't another kidnapped girl? I mean, this is bonkers. I don't know, you guys. Definitely let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But the one thing I will say is they botched this whole investigation from the very beginning, and it really makes you wonder. It honestly does. There's also some, how do I want to say this? There's also some very high up people that were in that area at the same time that she went missing. And like I said, if they really thought it was this guy or had proof that it was this guy, then why isn't he been charged? I mean, there's too many things here, but nothing adds up. Nothing makes any sense. Like, what the heck is going on here? Right? So I'm definitely going to stay into this. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that thumbs up. If anybody wants to, that's a free way for you to help. If anybody wants to do more, you can donate. The links are down in the description below, and you can join and become a member of the CNY family. We would love to have you. I love you guys. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe. Keep asking those hard questions and keep spreading that light. I'll see you guys next time.